Hey, my name is Sean. This is going to be the deck description for Snoop Hulk, a Jund Protean Hulk deck that aims to win with conspicuous Snoop combos. If there's any commanders you'd like to see in the next video, please comment those below. And thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoy, and if you do, please like and subscribe. Thanks.
Okay, let's get into the description. So we have our two commanders, Halana and Vile. Vile Smasher is really only there for the colors, the Rakdos colors that we add. And Halana is there for her second ability. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 2. When you do that, creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature. This is a powerful ability because it can target our opponent's creatures and act as removal, but it also can be used to target our own creatures. And this is kind of important with Protean Hulk. So the main goal is to reanimate a Protean Hulk and then pay that 2 extra mana and have it deal damage to itself. So I'm going to compare this to Volraz, or Valrose, the kind of the Turbo Hulk commander. For his second ability, sacrifice another creature or generate Valraz. And so the big difference between Valraz and Halana is Valraz is definitely the better of the two commanders, but he only has access to the 2 colors, the Golgari colors, green and black, whereas playing Halana you get access to other colors. In this case I chose red and black because that gives you access to discard spells and some additional tutors. And so let's move on. Protean Hulk is obviously our win condition. We want to get Protean Hulk in the way into the game, most likely through reanimation effects. Probably never going to actually intend to cast it unless it really comes down to the end of the game. And then once we cast Hulk, either use Halana's ability or use another sacrifice outlet to sacrifice it. Search our deck for the certain creatures we need to win immediately. So here I have some additional sack outlets. Viscera and Carrion Feeder are creature sack outlets that are pretty good. And then my favorite, Cabal Therapy. Basically, you cast Cabal Therapy, you actually can name Protean Hulk, target yourself, discard Protean Hulk, and then later on use the flashback to sacrifice Protean Hulk to to name another card and look at someone else's hand. So it provides you with both the way to discard Protean Hulk and then sacrifice it later on. Viscera and Carrion Feeder obviously just get our 1-mana creatures that you can sacrifice a creature to at any time, so they're pretty good. And then we have our first combo. I think this is one of the best combos creature-based combos you can get, which is Goblin Recruiter, Snoop, Torch Courier. And then on the next side, I'll have Kiki-Jiki and Mog Fanatic. Basically, once Protean Hulk dies, you search your deck for Goblin Recruiter, Conspicuous Snoop, Torch Courier, and then an additional 1 drop. Doesn't matter what that is, really. And then you have Recruiter Trigger when it enters. You search your deck for Kiki-Jiki, and then you combo from there by creating infinite copies of Conspicuous Snoop. And you got to make sure you sacrifice Torch Courier to give Snoop haste, and then make infinite copies of Snoop. Then the last copy of Snoop enters, makes a copy of Goblin Recruiter, and then you search your library for Mog Fanatic, put that on top. Conspicuous Snoop has all the copies have the ability of Mog Fanatic, and then you sacrifice them all to deal 1 damage to each of your opponents. This line doesn't even need Hulk, which is why this is kind of a layered deck, whereas the Valrose Hulk, without Hulk you cannot win. It's the main way to win the game. And this, obviously it's easiest with Hulk because it doesn't require you to have 5 mana up and a way to draw a card. All this requires you to have is the ability for you to cast to get a Hulk and then grab all these cards. Then we have the 2 other pieces of the combo. You need to have Kiki-Jiki on the top of your first Goblin Recruiter pile, and then Mog Fanatic on the top of your second Goblin Recruiter pile. So, and then we have some of the alternate win conditions. We're playing Kiki-Jiki, and the lowest mana creature that allows you to go infinite creatures wide is Hyrax Tower Scout. You cast it, you untap Kiki, and then you put a token in with haste. It untaps Kiki, another token with haste, untaps Kiki. Then we have Corval, which acts as both a sack outlet for Hulk, a just general value piece, and a way to pressure your opponent's life totals. And even though this is competitive, attacking is still a potential win condition. Not the greatest, but it can be utilized. And then we have even another Hulk pile that generates infinite mana, and then you get to use Halana's ability of whenever a creature enters the battlefield, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature, and then you just wipe the board of every creature. So if you have Corpse Stance, you search for Carrion Feeder or Viscera Seer on Dockside. They both enter. You sack the first dock side to Corpse Dance and to Carrion Feeder, and as long as you can create 6 treasures, which is a decent amount, but there's a lot of artifact-based strategies. Then you can go infinite on mana, then you cast Halana, then you continue the loop, still generating infinite mana, and then you use 2 mana each time to the infinite mana you've generated. To every time Doxa enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to an opponent's creatures. Do this as many times as needed. Kill all your opponent's creatures, and basically this is an instant speed. So you can do this during your opponent's turn whenever they play a creature. Yeah, so it kind of can keep all creatures off the board. And then you do have Finale of Devastation in the deck if you do draw that to go infinite and just give all your creatures plus a million and attack for the win. That's another way to win with this combo. But yeah, so this is another Hulk line you can use. Obviously less good because it requires you to have an instant, but still a potential Hulk line. And Corpse Dance is one of the many reanimation spells we have to get Hulk back for cheap. And then we have some of our stacked creatures. We can't really interact on the stacks. We have to play creatures like Collector Oof, Magus of the Moon, and Opposition Agent. Collector Oof shuts down a lot of these artifact-based strategies. We do run a few artifacts, but not enough that it really is going to affect us. We are a 3-color deck. Magus of the Moon stops 4 and 5-color decks pretty effectively. And then we have Opposition Agent. Allows us to basically stop our opponents from searching their libraries. We can search for a Thassa's Oracle if we really wanted to, but that's just an additional win condition that's in the deck. And then from here, the remainder of the deck is mostly interaction, tutors, and a bunch of ways to ramp us. So yeah, that's going to be the description. We will get into a few hands right after this. Okay, let's get into our first hand on Moxfield right now. Do a few play tests. Okay, let's see. Chrome Mox, Noxious Survival, Birds of Paradise. A little bit low on tutors, but the ramp is still pretty strong, so I'm probably going to try this. Drop her turn 1. Natural Order is really good. That allows us to sacrifice probably our Birds of Paradise to search for a Hulk. So I would say we just play this Marsh Flats per turn. Lose a life. Search our library for a Bayou. Put it into play. Shuffle our library. Then cast this. Then probably just going to be Hyrax Tower Scout to our Chrome Mox, which we will then tap to cast a Mana Vault. So we have enough mana to go Natural Order next turn, but we're probably just going to set up to play a Halana. Next turn we will draw. Autumn's Veil gives us additional ways to interact in case our opponents try to counter our stuff, and Noxious Rival has ways to bring back this Autumn's Veil. Probably just going to go 2, tap, lose a life, tap, play Halana, lose 2 life. We are just actually at 1 mana short, or 2 mana short of being able to cast Natural Order and winning, which is disappointing, but still, turn 3 is pretty good. Okay, Stomping Ground, and again we have Autumn's Veil for interaction. Play this untap, lose 2 life. Cast a Natural Order for 4, sacrificing this, so we'll have 1 colorless floating. Green and green. Search our library for a Protean Hulk. Put that into play. Shuffle our library. With the 1 colorless, we'll tap this, losing 2, so we can keep up Autumn's Veil. Lose 2 more life. Protean Hulk enters. We'll play the 2, have Halana have Protean Hulk deal damage to itself. It goes to the graveyard. We search our library for a Conspicuous Snoop, a Goblin Recruiter, a Torch Courier, and then so it's a total of 6 mana or less, so we can search for something else if we'd like. Don't really need to though. Goblin Recruiter enters the battlefield. We're gonna go view all. We're gonna search our library for a Kiki Jiki. Shuffle our library. Put the top card revealed. Put this on top. Then we will sacrifice Torch Courier to give Conspicuous Snoop haste. Tap Snoop to make a token copy. It enters, tap it, make a token copy. It enters, tap it, make a token copy. Then you have infinite token copies, and then when you have the last one, you're going to tap it, make a copy of Goblin Recruiter. Put that into play. View all. Search your library for a Mog Fanatic. Shuffle it. Put Mog Fanatic on top. All the Snoops have Mog Fanatic's ability. Sacrifice them all to themselves, and then deal 1 damage to each. Deal infinite damage to each player and kill them. So that was a turn 3 win. Very close to being a turn 2 win. A little bit low on mana, but yeah. We'll probably do one more hand because this hasn't been that long. Do a quick one. Restart. Okay, this hand I don't think is that good. We only have 1 land. We don't really have any fast mana outside of Jessica's Will. We do have Force of Vigor for interaction. Tainted Pact is an additional win con, but still not really. I'm going to mulligan down. And here's a pretty keepable hand. We have early game ramp. We have 2 lands. Yeah, keep this. Drop return. Now we have a Sack Outlet and Carrion Feeder. Tap. View all. Search my library for probably a Bayou again. Shuffle. Actually, probably should have been a Taiga there. That's my mistake. Move on to next turn. Try Pattern of Rebirth. Again, another way to get Hulk into play. Actually, we're probably just going to go tap. 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 Pattern of Rebirth on this. Move on to our next turn. Tap this to cast a Carrion Feeder. Sack this to Carrion Feeder. Search our deck for a creature. It's going to be a Protean Hulk. Put that into play. Shuffle our Whoa, where'd it go? I did not put it into play. Protean Hulk. What? Okay, this is doing something weird. Sorry about this. Shuffle our library. Put it into play. Then sack it to Carrion Feeder. And I don't think I need to demonstrate anymore. Another turn 3 win. So yeah, this deck is pretty fast. It has access to, as you can see, more interaction than the Valraz Hulk deck. Obviously, Volraz is a little bit better than Helana, but still, this deck is pretty effective. It can be pretty fast, and it also has a powerful late game. So, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and yeah, thanks. Bye.